Well, hello and welcome to Mystic Brew. It's an interesting time for me to be doing a recording because I was going to do it last night. It was a little after midnight, and all of a sudden I just felt like I had to lay down to unpack something and fell off into a nap. So I had to wake up and take care of some business and get this tape out. And this is about the campfire. Campfire will be the first one. Will be tonight, which is Wednesday, and the way I'm coordinating the first one is that Raksha Moose does one of his live streams on Thursday nights, and by the way, it's the new moon, and so the way we're going to coordinate this is at the end of his show, we're going to make the announcement that we're going to be leaving from his show and then beginning the first campfire. I'll get a little more details. Ultimately, I kind of found a little phrase that works for me that doesn't get into detail, but it gets into kind of the spirit or the soul of what the campfire is about, in my opinion. It's about what we have forgotten about ourselves, about the planet that we live on, the inner and outer world, but just really, I mean, I could, the topics, there are many subtopics, but ultimately it's about what we have forgotten. And using the imagery of a campfire, which is something that basically we still have, even in this modern world, many of us, especially in my age group, but most people have experienced sitting around a campfire if they've gone camping, and the magic of it. That's at least until people started paying more attention to their phones than their surroundings. And so this is something that we can kind of use as a tool to I won't leapfrog, but to kind of bring ourselves back in time, to take a something that is in our DNA from ancestral memory of an experience. And sure, as we kind of come into the modern era, the meaning of the campfire, at least in Western world, at least English-speaking world, has become less important. But it's kind of not so hard to imagine it might have been so important once upon a time. You can almost think even most Americans are a little bit acquainted with Native Americans smoking a peace pipe, the Indians smoking a peace pipe, and around a fire and a big teepee. There's some imagery in everybody's subconscious associated with a campfire, and it has there is a mystery. There's a specialness to it, and so the whole idea is to use this imagery and this even as word trigger to allow us to go deep. And I'd like to think of it as going deep rather than going back, but deep into time, and remembering what it was like to be free on this planet. I mean, really free. And what even freedom do we remember what that is? This is about remembering. So anyway, since I want to get back to making my nap, the night sleep that I take. I just want to put this reminder out, little promotion. So when does it start? It starts after Raksha Moose's live stream, which begins at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. Central Time, and then more. As you move west, you lose an hour again. And when does it end? Well, there's no definitive ending, although I'm hoping to have, and I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it, speak to Raksha before the show starts and give a little bit of a coordination, hoping there's some anticipation for the campfire and I just there'll be a natural usage of what happens in Raksha's stream, and because Raksha will know that we're going into the campfire, and he's he feels, he'll craft whatever he's going to do. He's going to craft where it all makes sense, and kind of like almost from a musical or. Um, anyway, this is not one of my high school language times here. Anyway, so tonight, Thursday night, starting at 9 p.m., Raksha Moose has one. It's a Moose Lodge, or it's one of his online communications, the meeting of the community. And even if you knew the community, it's lively. Raksha is a force of nature, and then there's a live chat which has its tie-ins with it, and sometimes has a life of its own. And but to play it safe, if you're going, well, I don't want to, maybe I'm interested in maybe attending a campfire, because what I'm going to do is, as we're ending that, I will have a code for people to use and a link, and we're going to be having it offline, and then we'll just get into other things. So this is kind of a minimal promotion. We're trying to get our legs about us. The dedicated fire keepers, as I'm calling them, for this one are going to be myself, Raksha, and Vern, who you might know from Voices of the Forum and Cosmic Emporium. No, not Cosmic, but the Voices of the Forum. And I'm working on a few other people who kind of know the space I'm trying to hold, and that's what the fire keepers are. We've already have a plan where we're going to have like an opening. We're going to open the sacred space, and then there'll be a closing of the sacred space, so that, and the person who kind of sets the tone, and that will be on a rotating firekeeper basis. Obviously, I'll be the first open person, and Raksha will be the closing person, and then the next campfire would have another opening person, and using a passing of the stick, so that everybody just can be heard, because the idea is to do the sharing. But it'll be, again, that's part of the like it'll be, in this case, it'll be in my for me to do, is to set the tone, explain what I'm not doing here, because I don't want to explain. It's like, this is a participation thing. I'm promoting what we're doing, but what we're doing is an experience. So I'll just leave it there. And I think one of the things that I really want to be discussing, because it's coming strong, and it's this way I can work it off some other people, is this feeling around this, what people call Halloween. It's one of the 8 Earth observances of the year. It's also called Samhain, even though it's spelled Samhain. Looks like Samhain, but apparently it's pronounced Samhain. And which is actually, from what I understand, at least in Celtic or certain pagan traditions of Europe, this was like, actually, the Halloween was the ending of the year. Like, the harvests are over now, so that's the ending of one year in an agrarian society, and now a new year begins, which starts with the land going down, going to sleep, winter, and then the awakening again. And so there, and it's also in Scorpio, which is a sign of death and rebirth. There's some, what's going on, like the depth, the kind of deeper psychological, esoteric, even magical aspects of what we're going through at these times. To me, is going to be an important part for me and my piece for this first campfire, because Halloween's coming up quickly, Samhain's rapidly approaching, and it just seems to be a time to talk about, something to talk about. All right, so that's it for me. Stay sane. I love you all. I really do. Experiences of love lately are really quite overwhelming. And anyway, yeah, stay sane, and I'll see you next time.